Hey guys, welcome to episode 73 of 4PlayerAnimecast. It is the 29th of July, deep in the middle of summer, and we are, of course, going through the new anime. Or, I guess they're only slightly new. We're already, most of them are already 3 or 4 episodes in, so we should be pretty deep in, 1/3 of the season-ish. But yeah, we've been watching a lot of shows that come out recently, and we'll be doing more of that as the weeks come on. But here with me are the usuals. Nier, what's up?
Hello.
What have you been up to recently?
Uh, a lot of things.
All things.
Well, first of all, Savage Raids came out in FF14, so I've been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
What are those?
very frustrating. Savage Raids are the raids that are hard.
So hard mode raids?
Yeah, they're for the hardcore players. Yeah, those are fun. Those are frustrating. I watched Kizumonogatari Part 2
All right.
because Kami finally subbed it.
Kami's still at 99.8% on Mahoya.
Yeah, it only took them almost, I think, half a year, but they did it.
Oh, on that note, by the way, I think 3 days ago, Kimi no Na, Your Name, BD, and which includes English subtitles came out, I believe. So
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. I don't know. I'm not too excited about that, but whatever. I watched. What did I watch? Oh yeah, I watched 2 episodes of Princess Principal, and I've actually started watching Noir, which is an older series.
okay. So mostly kind of staying off that lighter end. I see. Okay, so that's that. And Dark. Hello.
I have been keeping up with the same stuff essentially.
Okay.
Watched Tenshi no Sanpi and am still not in prison, surprisingly. I'm not in jail yet.
To be fair, Tenshi no Sanfi does what it wants to do well. And again, that's the same
put all
argument
its
I
viewers
made.
in prison.
Yeah. That's the same argument I made for Chintel. Cool. Alright, go on.
I also watched Princess Principal, watched Gamers, because I am a gamer. What else did I do? I watched some other stuff. I finally finished the old seasons of Symphogear, so now I'm on the newest one, but I haven't started that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Still haven't finished an episode of Hajimete no Gal, but I'm getting there. I'm halfway through, so one of these weeks I'll finish a full episode. And I think that's about it. I mean, PSO2 has that new class that's pretty cool that I'm playing. So,
all right. Then last but not least, Toast. What have you been up to recently?
Hello.
Hello.
yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, what have you been up to recently?
Hello.
All right, good talk.
All right, thanks,
nice,
Toast.
man.
Anyways.
Podcast adjourned. See you next time.
All right, so we'll
Sorry,
get back
I'm too busy watching the Crunchyroll Marathon 6 Days of Anime, sponsored by Twitch.
Is it still Joker Game?
I think it is.
Why would you watch that?
Cause it's free and it's sponsored by Twitch.
It's fucking boring.
Wow,
Dude.
all those shows are free on their fucking website with shitty
Eating
commercials.
shit is also free, but that doesn't mean you do it, right?
6 Days of
let us
Anime,
not be
sponsored
lemmings
by
here.
Twitch on Twitch TV/Twitch Presents, sponsored by Crunchyroll.
All right. Anyways.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll hear more about that in callouts.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to Toast a little bit later, but with that, we should probably move on to our first subject. Again, we have a lot of series to go through in this and as well as the next maybe couple of episodes, so it's gonna be pretty jam-packed. Anyways, Dark, what did you want to talk about?
Man, I want to talk about games. Playing them for the fun of the game. Yeah, let's talk about gamers. And let's talk about how it's not that good. And let's talk about how it's okay. But
So is it okay? Let me. And I know this.
start
this
me off
seems-
because I'm not sure where to start, to be honest.
So I'm gonna. Well, okay. So gamers is like, it's the rom-com backbone with a sprinkle of, with a dash of game themed, or with a sort of like plastic spine of like game themed, game game, not game themed more. There's game trivia, like game trivia, and like I don't want to say
kind of
references to
games?
what I don't want to
It's
say references to what
Umaru.
gamers are like, because it's not really like
Is it
that.
the Umaru of gaming?
Almost, actually.
Almost.
Funny you should say that.
But it's again, it's, since I said it is mainly a rom-com background. You know, there are some pairs going around. You know, MC plus sidekick plus, you know, three girls mainly hang around a video game club, and they do
What kind of games
whatever
do they
want.
play? Is it like
That
there's no girls in real life, or that kind, or is it MMO
it's
type
not
of
as
games?
intense as that. It's like it's a little bit more like spread around. But they get together and then they talk about, you know, games and gamers and stuff like that.
What kind of
Also
games?
kind of
Oh my
Shut the
god,
fuck
I'm gonna fucking kill
What
you.
kind of games? This is the important part.
We'll get to
all
it.
kinds
They're
of-
in a game club. They play games
Yes,
in
I
general.
can't-
What kind of
Yes.
video games? Board games?
All of the above,
Yeah.
Toast. If it's a game, they play it.
Yes.
Word
That's
association?
kind of the point.
What about pickup sticks?
Oh
Fuck,
my
dude.
God.
Do they
have an
play-
episode about
Connect
that.
Four.
Do they play Twister?
Oh my god, shut the fuck up. All right. Anyways, so they go around,
The
but
people
it's
need to
mainly
know.
it's mainly focused around the rom-com aspect of it. It is done by, what is it done by? Oh, it's done by Pine Jam. But they haven't really done it much, right? Yeah, they haven't done much
Who
except
the
for
fuck is
they-
Pine Jam?
they're the people who helped out with Getsuyobi no Tawa, the thing that like the Sword Art Online drawer or whatever like made.
Himura
You know that
Kiseki.
animation?
He's the
Tawa
one
Online.
no, he's the one who draws sword art progressive. Himura Kiseki.
Yeah, Sword Art Progressive, excuse me. So yeah, they helped out with that, but Pine Jam is very, very new. They haven't done anything really big yet.
So shorts essentially is what they've done.
Pretty much, yeah. Anyways, Dark, you want to talk a little bit about, you know, your experience watching this? I think I've watched this, but Nier or Toast, have you guys watched /
No.
read any of this?
No.
I know the art style's kind of jank. That's about it.
All right. So going off of that, I guess first thing, audio visuals. I guess I can talk about. Overall, they're okay. They're pretty like serviceable and standard. They're not bad. They're not like outstanding either. They try and do some things in the first episode that I give them props for trying to do, with like having text. I don't want to say overlaid, but you know that sort of effect when there's like floating text in like a scene and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to do that. So like the title was above a building in the first shot, like the very first shot,
Yeah, I remember
instead
that.
of it being like, you know, over the actual entire like screen or something. So I give them props for trying to do that. The only problem is that the show itself, like Spire was saying, has that like sort of rom-com backbone, or that rom-com thing with like a
Focus, yeah.
yeah, the rom-com focus, but with like, you know, the games being the backbone. But I don't know, I feel like they're going too little on both ends of the spectrum. Like they're not really doing enough with the rom-com, and they're not doing enough with the games all at the same time.
Yeah, they're trying to. The issue is, it's like, I feel, well, this is a little bit advancing the conversation a little bit fast, but they also have like a third end that they want to accomplish that that you didn't mention, or I haven't mentioned it either. But it's the whole like, you know, what are gamers like? Like, how should gamers interact? How should gamers interact with society? Stuff like that. And they're also trying to handle that a lot of time. Like, oh, I'm like a nerd, or I'm just like gamer, but how do I interact with these normal people?
The
Like stuff
real
like that.
Jews, man.
Yeah, exactly. And then they do cover that, especially in episode like 2 or so, like at the end of episode 2. A little bit in episode 3 now that I just skimmed a little bit of it, but because they're trying to do that also at the same time, they're not handling it all very well because they have a lot on their plate they need to cover. But the issue is, even if they did, cover all, even if they were able to cover each of that like separately, I feel like they're not very used to it. They're not very, like, none of the writers are very sort of like keen on any of these topics. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Are you saying they don't play video games?
No, I mean, I definitely say they probably do because
they play video games, but are they
Professional? They're not professional?
Are they not experienced enough in sort of how this like cultural phenomenon works, and is sort of able to talk about them in detail is another question, right?
especially when it comes to non-Japanese sort of genres like FPSs, they
Yeah, exactly.
clearly.
I really hated
Struggled
that
it.
shit. Like,
Yeah, it
and
was
it's
not
so painful, and that's not like I don't necessarily blame gamers, because so what gamers did was like they introduced to them to like the video game room, the video game club room or whatever, and they have like a couple of people playing, and one dude's like, and they introduced one dude and he's like, oh, he's a professional competitive FPS player. He's won all the awards, like, or whatever it is, and I'm just like, it's kind of depressing that they kind of simplified it to like the lowest common denominator in this way, but I can't really blame them for it because almost like literally every anime series that has touched games and like to some extent has done something like this, where it's like, this guy, he's a top FPS player, whether that's like the only other competitive genre that Japan has any recognition of, whether like I don't even know, but it's not like the dude even like shows that he's doing like Counter-Strike or something like that, or like they are aware of anything. It's like, yeah, it's like Donald Trump levels of
What are you
like
talking
vagueness,
about?
right?
He's literally playing Counter-Strike in that.
Yeah, I mean, Gamers is slightly better in that one, but it's like a lot of the other ones, they're just like they play a Medal of Honor competitively, or like that like some spoof of like Medal of Honor or something like that. I'm just
Yeah, that
like,
happens.
all right, yeah. I'm just
Like if you're gonna have a competitive FPS player at this point, here's your two games: Overwatch and CS:GO. You can pick one of them.
yeah, and it's just like, and even like beyond that, it's just like, yeah, he's an FPS player and he's won all the awards. I'm just like, all right,
Even the
kid.
Grammys.
All of them.
Yeah, he's won the Golden Globes for FPS gaming, but it's very sort of painful in seeing that vagueness. They don't need to be like super detailed about it, but they need to put some sort of like, better context in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
I mean, in general, that is one of their issues with trivia in that show in general about games, the way they deliver it. They have, I mean, it's there when they want it to be. There was a scene where they play P4U.
yeah.
And when they're playing that in the arcade, they do a rundown of the MC's like first time playing it, and they're like, "Oh, he's doing
Mistakes,
a lot of.
Yeah.
Here's the mistakes. He's doing heavy attacks while the other person's blocking that are unsafe, and he's jumping too much, and he's trying to throw out a super as like a last ditch effort." And they started giving all this trivia, but I really would have liked to have seen that delivered actually in the show instead of throwing text up on the screen and then being like
sort of like a side kind of thing, almost as part of
Yeah.
a comedy shtick, but also sort of edutainment in a sense. But,
yeah.
Fun
Like,
fact.
I would have rather have like a character make a comment like, "Why are you doing all the like? Why do you keep jumping?" or like, "Why do you keep doing all these
Yeah.
attacks while I'm blocking? That's not safe."
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah, but they got sponsored footage.
It's,
That's actual Persona 4 arena footage
yeah,
that they use.
that's actually kind of what sort of
And
sort of-
actual shit Elfelt gameplay, huh?
yeah, that sort of also, I mean, it didn't bug me, but I was kind of just like, they showed, people were, Twitter on the interwebs were all like, wow, they show stuff like Guilty Gear or whatever in Persona. It's like, Yeah, but and it's nice that they show, like actual games instead of like, hey, some sort of fantasy RPG number 15, haha, we're playing it, like,
Haha,
that.
Dragon Quest, but not really.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
exactly.
what if Gamers is going to have the first reveal of Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle?
Oh
shit.
That's what I
shit.
said to Spire, and I was like, that would actually be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Just,
But they kept introducing stuff like Guilty Gear and Persona and stuff like that.
All it needs is Uniel.
Yeah. I forget if they
trifecta.
actually put in Union.
oh
or
no,
not,
there's a
but,
Uniel poster. Don't worry.
Oh,
yeah, there's
snap.
a Union poster. Yeah,
In
Where's
episode one.
Melty?
Confirmed.
yeah. But the thing is,
Yeah,
it's like-
exactly.
yeah.
Where is Melty?
When's Melty? But the point is that those sort of levels of detail, a lot of that came from the fact that they like partnered with ArcSys, like the studio actually, like, or sort of anime project actually partnered with ArcSys. And I'm thinking, well, if they only got to that level of detail by partnering, like actually partnering with an entire company, does that mean that like the rest of the series is just gonna be like, haha, look at this crane game, like, all right, like stuff like that?
See, like I'm kind of in a weird place with that because I can't super tell because the CS:GO part was pretty good what they had. Like, granted, it looked like ass because they were remaking Counter-Strike like on a fucking anime CG budget.
Yeah, that's true.
But they actually had the layout of Dust down.
Yeah, and like the
Of
sort of like
Dust too-
models
of
that look
Dust
like
too.
dust.
Yeah, and he was using like and he was using AWP and shit. So I was like, they have some pretty decent knowledge of Counter, very least. So that was
Wait.
nice.
So it wasn't actual Counter-Strike footage. It was like
It-
CG remake of Counter-Strike.
Yes.
You know, like the Chinese like ripoff of Counter Strike, like Crossfire or whatever it is.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Imagine
think of
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's essentially how.
What the fuck?
well, because they can't do regular Counter Strike.
Yeah, I mean they can't do regular Counter Strike. Yeah, but yeah, I do appreciate that point where they put in some details. But again, I would like for them to go further. Like instead of just being like, here's Guilty Gear, here's a Counter Strike. See that dude's playing Counter Strike, haha. Like actually, just like no, like talk about games. Like this is a story about games, right? I mean, it obviously depends on what the contents of the light novel are like, and I like, but come on, like we've seen rom-com a million times already. So if you really want to invest in rom-com, then this story better have a goddamn like soul-fillingly good like rom-com, or else it better talk about games.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't really do well with any of those.
Yeah, I mean, I what I'm thinking is that there's one last hope for it to start speeding up in like episodes 3, 4, etc. But
Yeah, I guess that could be the case. And then I guess the only other gripe I have with the show is the episode 2 dropped it, thank fucking God. But episode 1 had something that I liked, and then episode 2 didn't have that either. Where they had something that was like a more I don't know how to describe the comedic moment of it, but it was like when the character literally bursts into a tornado of flames in the game store.
spontaneous,
Yeah, like I liked that as like a joke.
spontaneous explosion or whatever, spontaneous combustion.
Well, yeah, I mean I don't really know how to describe that as like a comedic like
His fighting spirit.
It's just
sort
like
of
surreal
thing.
comic. It's like surreal comic. But yeah, comic.
yeah, it's like a surreal thing, and they kind of dropped that entirely in episode 2, which is kind of weird because they had a moment or two of it in 1, which I would have liked to see more of.
Mhm.
But instead,
That's where all the budget went.
yeah, instead in episode 1, they had a lot more of those floating text moments that I was talking about,
Mhm.
which
freeze frame kind of thing.
yeah, where I was describing it to Spire, and I was saying it's basically that meme where they say record scratch freeze frame.
Yeah,
This is me.
yeah.
I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Fucking
exactly.
That's-
kill me.
Essentially, how the show
Nice.
starts at one point, and
And
that's
there are like
also-
other parts that way they do it too.
Yeah, because like they do a freeze frame when a character says something. The character's like, what a nerd. I'd never talk to him. My girlfriend's so hot. And then it's like freeze frame.
Hot dude,
Real
hot
point,
girl.
hot
The
guy.
nerd.
He's like, by the way, they're going to meet in secret later.
Yeah.
And I was like, stop doing this because I don't care. It's pretty fucking obvious where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Like, it was.
It's sort of there to give a forced comedic bent, because if that scene had just played out, it would just become like sort of a more like, oh, this is going to lead into some sort of personal, interaction or deeper personal interaction or whatever, right? And people would be like, oh, it's just foreshadowing. But because they did it, they're like, oh, it's like the last sign at like a comedy or like a late night show or whatever. It's like, please laugh kind of thing, where it's like, yes, it's forced, but it also forces that comedic bent in a sense. Like, it's still not good, but I'm like explaining why.
Oh, no. I know why they do it, and I know why that's a thing. And I think that, I mean, that used to be a thing, but I think that also used to be a thing in like Western comedy movies, like, a decade ago, and isn't anymore for decent reason, because I'm personally just really tired of that sort of shit. So
they were just a little bit lazy in trying to deliver the comedy that way, because they were just like, oh, we need to handle this, interpersonal interaction very fast. Or like, we need to get these people in a fucking room together and, have them start fucking or playing games or whatever they're doing, right? But at the same time, they're like, oh, wait, we need comedy in this. So that's, I guess, what they came up with.
yeah, it's kind of weird. So that was like something that I didn't care for.
Mhm.
And also the fact that they don't have much joke. They don't have like any jokes involving like actual game trivia. Like,
Yeah.
they
That's
have no joke. Like, the opening has more references to games in it, with like, you see the main girl, and under her is like the visual novel text, and then you see like a JR or like a Mario type stage in the beginning in the OP.
Yeah. Again,
But
that's
there's
like
never any of that as like a comedic point in the show, which I thought was like kind of really weird.
Yeah, that's also part of the problem with series that are more rom-com slash whatever, slice of life slash whatever, than they are, whatever they're themed after, which in this series is games. Like, Umaro had the same thing, where it's like, Umaro had like, I guess it had the comedy or whatever, but very few of its comedy was based upon, game stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm just gonna sit in the house all day drinking Pepsi. Like, that's not a game-related joke or whatever. Like, that's just, that's like the contrast between, like the proper girl and like the neat or whatever it is. Right?
Yeah, I guess my main point about that as like a closing thing is that the first episode kind of baits you into thinking that they might do that with that like fire thing that I was talking about, where it's going to be like more absurd stuff. Like, you would think that they would have these intercuts of like a game reference sort of moment.
Yeah, okay.
Which is baffling, because Tenshi no 3P had a fucking intercut game RPG comedy moment. And that show is not about games.
Yeah.
So those are my gripes with it. I think overall it's kind of okay, but it's pretty standard.
Yeah, my main gripe is that it needs to do both. It needs to do thing A well, or it has three choices, and there is no like, can we just half-ass this? No. Option one, it kind of sets the game thing aside, and it does rom-com extremely well. Option two, it needs to do the game thing like much better than average. Option three, it does somehow both of them miraculously well. I don't know how that works, but that's an option. But those are the only things on the table. They cannot. There's none of this like, oh, but haha, there's girls and then the guy is shy, but they go out together because games, right? Like, none of this half-ass stuff, please. And that also means that the third leg, the secret leg, which I mentioned a bit before, but we kind of dropped quickly, where it's like the whole talking about how do gamers interact, what should gamers be like in society, or like around their friends or around normal people or whatever. That shit needs to go. They're clearly not doing it well. They're just like, well, I'm a real Jew, but I play games too. And then it's like the sidekick's girlfriend is like, yeah, I'm Rigi, but because my boyfriend, blah blah blah, love, blah 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 blah, love, blah, like I'm also gonna start playing games, haha. Like, no, just drop it. Like these people have no idea how to write this.
Yeah.
Like they have either no experience or they have no idea how to write this, so they shouldn't try.
But don't worry, that's not really looking up because you just reminded me of the whole plot point in episode 2 that really shouldn't have been covered as fast as it was, where the like quote unquote cool guy was like, yeah, I was a nerd in middle school and now I changed my appearance, like worked so hard on it, finds out that his girlfriend liked him when he was in middle school, and then he pretty much like re-falls in love with her.
No, that's gonna be the whole setup for the struggle between the nerd him and then the him that's like enjoy the cool life, surrounded by friends, stuff like that, right? And it's like that's
I guess, but at the same time, it's like I would have liked to have seen that drawn out more than like the ass end of episode 2 for like a 2 minutes.
Well, they're not gonna.
I'm basically saying I would have rather have had that introduced and be sort of like almost like an anxiety point for that character for a little bit at least. Before immediately.
Would you like it to be resolved, or would you like it to be a sort of like a recurring theme, like like it's going to?
I'd like to have it resolved, but I'd like to have had it, at least resolved over the course of an episode. Like they resolved it in 2 minutes to the point where we were like, well, why would we even we don't even need to care that this character wasn't cool in middle school and now has his girlfriend. Like we didn't have to question that she. We didn't have to question like, does she like him because he's cool, or did she like him even when he's a fucking nerd?
Yeah, I personally think that doing it that quick is almost just like ripping the bandage off quickly. It's like, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you here. What I'm saying is, from my experience and from what I would have predicted if that was to happen, is that if that had gone on longer, I would have been against it, because when they make that sort of thing longer, it goes back to what I said about he's going to be fighting. Do I want to play the things I enjoy, or do I want to be cool? I just sit here, blah blah blah, and they're going to do that conflict all over again. And they usually don't write that well, where it's always going to be like the dude's friends, the Goonies, are going to either tease the MC or they're going to do something stupid and he doesn't want to go along with it. And he's gonna make this final decision. He's like, no, I'm not gonna go out with you guys or whatever. And he's gonna come back to the club or whatever it is. And I'm personally against that sort of very obvious thing happening. So I don't know whether they should have gone longer, but it was unfortunate that this character development was very sort of sidelined. The sidekick's character, that is.
Yeah, I guess. I can see where you're coming from with that. I'm not really sure what to think of, like, where it's going to go with them.
Where it should have gone.
No, where it's going to go. Because, what you're saying is an obvious way for it to go, but at the same time, I guess, like, the signs aren't super there of his friends being like, wow, what a fucking nerd that guy is, right? Because they're
well, they haven't done it yet, but like when the dude starts going on more, like the sidekick starts doing more video game stuff, I guess they're gonna be like suspecting something, and then that's where the troubles are gonna begin, is my prediction.
I mean, yeah, I'd say it's a pretty fair prediction for sure.
Yeah, and then they're gonna be like, hey, like, what are you gonna do those nerdy things like all these Arc Sys games? Like,
what are you, a nerd
or something?
You gonna play that Melty Blood?
You gonna play that Dragon Ball Fighters that's coming out soon?
Yeah,
that's releasing in early 2018.
God, but yeah, those are pretty good points. But as like a closing call, do you wanna recommend or not recommend this to somebody? If somebody is like seen a lot of more I guess recent slice of life stuff, but let's say they want something a little bit better, would you recommend this or not recommend
How
this?
good are they at these games? And can I relate to them?
I guess I would say like it's at least better than Civ 5 with the Brave New World expansion pack.
Yeah, I totally get
Damn
that.
campus.
I don't know. It's hard to recommend. I'd say I definitely wouldn't. Like, this is the first one on your list. Like, this is a rom-com you should check
It's
out
serviceable.
right now. Like, if you have nothing else right now, you could check it out. But it's like, if you have any rom-com on your backlog that someone has recommended to you, it's probably
going
better
up
than
there.
this.
Yeah.
Like, this should be like the bottom of your list.
Mm.
I don't mean the bottom of your list of like, oh, where bad shows go. I mean the bottom of the list where like okay shows go that you're watching.
Yeah,
Like, you're done with the actual really good stuff. Now you're like, okay, may as well just check out some like standard shit.
Okay.
And on that note,
The podcast is over.
Yeah. We're ending the pod. All right. Anyways, again, thank you, Dark, for covering gaming stuff. And with that, we are moving on to a little bit. I mean, this is also very known.
and on that note, there's another rom-com that might be better than the one that Dark talked about this season.
I'd argue against that.
I was going to cover it, Toast, but yes. So it is a rom-com. It is one of the more known series, and it's.
Is it
I
one of
feel
the
like-
more known series? It's pretty newish.
I mean, it's
No,
new,
it's
but
like
now
the
it's
name
well
is
known
out
for this
there.
season.
Like the
Yes.
name is out there.
Toast, it's a fucking ecchi with Garus. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like it
got its anime adaptation really quickly, so
I mean, I'm not too surprised, but
that's pretty new.
So it is. I'm not sure how controversial it is on the interwebs yet, but I mean, I'm guessing it's not gonna take too long for somebody to be triggered by something, but on that series. But it is called Hajimete no Gyal, or my first Gyaru, or also known as my girlfriend is a gal. Yes.
How does that even
Gyaru-
translate in English? They'll be like, "What is a gal?" And that's not something that translates into English very well. It's a Japanese sort of thing.
Yeah, so Gyaru is a sort of cultural phenomenon / like fashion trend-ish kind of thing in Japan, originating from Japan, that is, where the girls sort of usually sport stuff like more, I guess, more westernized, like what they imagine as like Western
They're
stereotypical
super
looks,
flashy.
where it's like, yes, more like gaudy clothing, especially with like nails or makeup or whatever, eye makeup, whatever.
And tan.
Yeah, they have a lot of like accessories, hair dyed stuff, like blonde or whatever, and sometimes tans, ranging anywhere from
That is a subcategory of Gyaru that we'll talk about later.
Oh, I don't think we need to talk about defining Gyaru, but it's like
Does this show cover Gyaru trivia? Is that?
no.
It's not Galco.
There's actually a show that does, I believe, talk about Gyaru, which is the one where it's like the three girl.
It's
No.
it's
Galco-chan?
Galco, yeah, Galco-chan, right? Yeah.
Shit, dude.
But,
I should
hey.
go back and refinish that.
God, please no.
Galco's godlike, dude.
It was amazing.
Anyways, so Gyarus are usually known, or have a stigma, that is, of being sort of the more loose personalities, like sexually active, proactive personalities, more sort of rule-breaking personality, stuff like that. And that stereotype has spread out, especially in popular culture, especially in Japan, anime, manga, whatever. So this story is pretty much rom-com pseudo-harem of, girls that are gyarus aiming for him, aiming for the MC. And that's how it begins. I forget who the studio is by, but it's not really relevant, I guess. It's probably by like Silverlink or some stupid fucking studio, but that's irrelevant. Anyways, Toast,
What's up?
how did you want to start off?
What?
It's the biggest mistake you've ever made.
Passing it off
The
to Toast.
studio is
First being Toast, do you want to start
the
it off?
studio is
NAZ.
Naz, if you're wondering what it.
NAZ, Naz, yeah.
Yeah.
They did. They helped with some stuff, but yeah, most of that's been like assistance with stuff like Danganronpa, Space Dandy 2, stuff like that. But anyways, go on with what you thought about Hajimete no Gyal. I believe you also read the manga, original.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah.
So would you?
I'll give it an
Sick.
I'll give it an all right out of 10.
Is it a beginner anime, Toast?
Nah. I wouldn't say so.
What about for ecchi? Is it a beginner anime? Is it a beginner for like people trying to get into ecchi? Is it a beginner ecchi?
No, the English dub of Testament of New Devil is definitely the beginners.
Oh shit!
Nah. Oh, that's
Like,
English. Okay.
It's
Well,
getting an English
it's
dub,
not.
yeah.
It's the ecchi is not as level. It's not on the level of Testament of New Devil because it's not very.
Well, Testament of New Devil is
It's
just.
not on that level. It's more the teasing kind. I mean,
There are more frequent occurrences of it, but New Testament, like once the scenes happen, they just start going, and you're like, God damn it!
once they
Like,
start
whatever.
going, they go in hard. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
thank you, Toast.
But yeah,
Thank you, Toast.
I mean the lewd scenes they're pretty. What's the word? Tame.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
like
yeah.
very tame. They're at the point
This thing
where
is like a shonen. It's like a shonen jump series, right? Like shonen. Yeah, this is
No.
like a shonen jump series.
Well,
Or
Well,
one
it's
of the
not
latest
tame
ones.
enough to not get an uncensored version. I'll tell you what.
Well, there is an uncensored version, but
I know that's what I'm saying.
I watched the censored version and it's pretty funny because they have some pretty unique censors in there. Like the time they were in the karaoke place, there was a giant strobe light sensor. Pretty cool.
So what do you think about the? First of all, okay. So a couple of questions. What do you think about the story, like the flow in general? And second of all, and this is actually a really important question. Um, what do you think about the differences between the anime and the manga? Because some people have been complaining on the interwebs about this sort of like very
Really?
big
Wow,
differences.
they're
Yes,
weird.
yes.
Well, first off,
Yeah.
what was the first question?
What do you think about the story, like in
Oh,
general?
it's pretty normal.
Normal?
It's pretty
in terms of like
futsu.
rom-com harem kind of stuff.
It's pretty futsu. It's a story about this dude named Junichi. He was all like, "Oh, I'm in high school now, but why aren't I popping with the girls?" And he's all like, "I'm gonna fix." And then or no, he doesn't want to fix it. Actually, his friends con him into it or something. Him and his loser friends are like, "Oh, why aren't we popping with the girls? Is it because we're lollicons and perverts?" And they kind of are. And Junichi's like, "Well, no more. I'm going to do something about it." Then he asked the main girl out, and she's all like, "Wow, you're gross." And
Yeah, I mean, a
like
lot of it's
the very first scene of the anime is him asking out the main girl, and she's all like, "Wow, you're gross."
yeah, it's it's actually not that. I mean, I guess this is like a spoiler in a sense, but it's not like it's a little bit more rom-com than it is just like a comedy yonkoma, where it's like how there are some comedy yonkomas out there these days where it's like this girl has like XYZ traits, and then basically these traits like she'll do these series of actions like over and over again. Like if she's like a Yankee, she'll like do some super rough stuff, or if she's like super sweet, she'll do some other stuff, or if she's like a Gyaru, she'll do some stereotypical Gyaru stuff, and then the MC responds to it, and that's sort of the comedy stick, right? But
Yeah.
it kind of develops into the more like standard rom-com where it's like the girl. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a Gyaru, but like she's not like a super like slutter.
She's
Like,
Galco. She's
yeah,
Galco level. Yeah.
she's like casually there, but like she's still like a
It's
girl at
like
heart.
she dresses
Like,
a certain way, but that's because she likes it. Other than that, she's pretty
yeah,
normal.
yeah, the standard stuff. So they started having like a normal thing, but then the rest of the sort of rom-com context, around them have this very heavy like sort of like stereotypical Gyaru thing, like Gyarus do this and that, and all her Gyaru friends are jumping in on the bandwagon, stuff like that. That happens, and then the MC is also the full like very stereotypical like, oh, I'm a virgin boy, I like react to anything, which is
Anime
honestly,
MCs react.
yeah.
Top 10 anime reactions.
Yeah, top 10 notes, please. But it's like the MC reacting, like, oh, I can almost see her panties, stuff like that is a big part of the series' comedy. But I don't really like it because
It's pretty. It's average. Like
first of all, it's repetitive, and I don't. I mean, like the shtick, it's like a major shtick, but it's very much like it's so obvious. It's everything's always like, oh,
It's very
I could
predictable. There's
see her
nothing
neck.
groundbreaking about it. It's like you can
Yeah,
see it a
there's
mile away.
yeah, and it takes way too long. Like the scenes themselves where he's just like, can I do this? And then they have like a conference in their like head, like between the angel and the devil, and like the panty wearing thief or whatever it is, like the arrow side of him. And then they all have a conference, and that thing lasts like 18 minutes out of like the 15 minutes the show has. So it's, I think that part of the comedy takes a little bit too long. The audio visuals are kind of just there.
I'd say they're an improvement over the manga because the manga's kind of.
Really? They're an
Think so?
improvement?
No,
Yeah.
I think the manga is
Episode
pretty
1's
decent.
audio
Yeah,
visuals
like-
are not very good.
I'd say they're an improvement because the manga visuals they're kind of flat. If you know.
So
what I
are the fucking anime visuals.
Yeah.
The anime visuals are really flat.
I like the
They're
manga
more
visuals a bit
one
more.
tone. Like all their faces have like this one dimension to them. They're not very detailed, but like the anime details them a lot more. Like you can tell. There's more.
Are you trying to say they all look the same, Toad?
Yeah, they do.
But,
They're all
it's-
same face. More so than like any other series that I've
Fucking
read so far.
racist.
I also find the voice casting for this pretty funny because it's like the main girl is not like super new, but it's like she's relatively new to the scene, like in terms of like big series, and like everybody else, like all the other girls are like the lesbian or the I guess that was a spoiler, but
The gang girl.
yeah, the Ganguru, the super tan girl is like done by Kitamura Eri, obviously very big. The student council president or like the student rep or whatever, the black hair girl, is done by Taketatsu Ayana. And then
Ayane Taketatsu.
yes. And then
Are you sure it's not Kana Hanazawa?
shut the fuck up. And then the childhood friend is done by Ogura Yui. So she's like the main girl is like the only one that's like a newbie.
Dude, she's the underdog.
Yeah, it's very weird. But the whole like harem rom-com like shuraba kind of thing, the icha icha, the jealousy, whatever stuff is pretty. It's above average. It's not like the best because a lot of them is just like, I mean, they do go through like the whole like jealousy icha icha like flirting kind of thing, but a lot of the whole like flirting or whatever is in the form of like, hey, look, boobs, like, which is like a little bit in your face, no pun intended, right? Like, so I'm not sure if I really buy into that kind of stuff, but it is above average because the girls are actually like, like doing stuff. They're not just like, oh, but my cat is stuck in a tree. Like they're not that sort of. They're not those. sorts
My
of
cat
people,
is
right?
stuck in a tree. Use my boobs to help her get out or something. Like what?
Yeah, that's sort of volume. You know how the plot goes, but I think it's slightly above average in terms of how these modern series have been going along. Obviously, again, I'm not entirely sold on these sorts of like rom-com interactions yet, but
Well, I mean, like it's better than normals because
they're like doing stuff.
because the main character Junichi,
Yeah.
he's he doesn't know much about love. He's all like, I only date her because I want to do it. This kind of thing.
Yeah,
But then he's all
That-
like,
that problem actually takes a while to go away, but he does wrestle with it a bit, and I think it does present sometimes a valid issue, or it's like, oh, I kind of got into this because it's like I just want to lose my virginity or whatever.
yeah. But then he's like, the other girls are offering it up so far. It's like, you want to do it? And he's like, nah, I'm good.
Nah,
He's like,
it's
he's
okay.
like,
It's
nah,
okay.
like I'm already dating this one girl, like so it'd be wrong if I did. And I'm like, okay. Wow, you actually have a slight bit of a morals there, even though
Yeah.
you come in here for the sleaze, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you get some bonus points for that.
Yeah, I kind of don't like it when that aspect, like I just want to lose my virgin, is used for the comedy aspect because again, the comedy aspect isn't that pleasing. But yeah, it does present some sorts of like these obstacles, relatively like real obstacles that were set up. The other question I had, and this is probably the sort of, I guess, the last question out of the two that come up is there are significant differences between the anime and the manga. There's some truncation. Some characters come up before others. Some characters appear when in the manga they don't or whatever, and all these kinds of things happen.
The thing you're talking about is the little sister Nene. She comes out like smack dab early in the first episode, and she doesn't
and
appear
then
until
also
after the current arc of like the first couple episodes of what's happening.
Yeah. Also, doesn't the
There's also another main heroine that has just recently appeared in the manga, like a couple episodes ago, and she was teased to be
in the last episode, right?
An upcoming character in the anime before her character art was even revealed in the manga, and it's like, what's with this pacing?
Some people are also saying that they emphasized a lot more like of the loot scenes in the anime over like the whatever talking. I think it's honestly pretty similar to each other because it's like the manga itself already had a lot of those whole like.
Yeah, but it's better animated, Spire. Especially with those sweet censors, like in the way it's like, hey, here's a shot of not boobs here, and it's people. The people are like, hey, I want to see this boobs, and they they look at the manga, and it's like, surprise, the same thing.
Yeah, it's like the same thing. It's like the exact same thing.
So why do these censors even exist if it's not, you're not gonna see anything?
Well, have you watched the uncensored version yet?
Yeah, I have.
Of the anime?
Nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing happens. But it's
I'm well. All right, well, let's talk about that later because I'm confused.
But I mean, overall, I don't really know about these truncations. I feel like they could have just done a straight adaptation, but truncated like they did.
Yeah, but you look at the voice cast, dude. You gotta get those big names in, and then they're out and quickly. It's like,
yeah, but are you and Ogura Yui, right?
Like, are you really gonna not use them for about half the series? Hell no, you're gonna use them immediately.
Just hold up. We're gonna bring you in later. But yeah,
you don't say no to that. If you want people to watch your anime, bring them in now. It's like, hey, this has got
Ogura Yui is doing a yandere role in this, right? So it's like she's gonna definitely get like points for that, reviews for that. But yeah, I mean, what do you think of overall of like how they changed it from the manga?
I'm fine with it because, like I said, I personally don't have a problem with it. It doesn't really mess up the pacing so far, because the first 3 episodes, it's about like Nene appeared, did her thing, but she doesn't have her arc until later on, and that's about it. The other girl, Ayane Takatatsu, she's not gonna appear until much later. And I mean, there's no problem. I don't have any problem with it because.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't really have
it hasn't like detracted from the story for me so far.
Yeah, it's just kind of switched around more or less. Yeah, I personally, especially since the Ogura Yui girl didn't really have that much input. Like she had like a tiny bit of input, but not that much input on the Ayane Takatatsu arc. You know what I mean? Like she had that input at the very beginning, but then like not really anything else. But
yeah, these other girls basically exist to get in the way of Yukana and Junichi's relationship.
It's like obstacles. It's like you're playing like Magical Railcar, and then it's like the obstacles coming up.
Yeah, and it's like they're not gonna do anything substantial so far. So
yeah, I wish they would all get together, and kind of do the icha kind of like, or talking with each other or stuff like that. But right now, there's not that much, so it doesn't make that much of a difference switching around. I kind of think, I don't know if there should be less truncations, but I kind of do mind some of like the smaller, like like mini episodes, stuff like that
they condensed the Ranko arc. That's Kitamura Eri, the Gyaru or the Genguru. Yeah. They condensed it to 1 episode, where in the manga it took several chapters, and I'm okay with that. I mean, this is probably not going to be 24 anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're pretty packed on time, but I'm kind of curious as to what they're gonna do for
what I'm worried about
other episodes.
Yeah, because the speed of the anime is catching up to the manga relatively quickly. So I want and the manga is a like semi. It's not weekly. It's like quarterly, I think.
Bi-monthly?
Bi-monthly, something like that.
Every
Takes a
two
couple of
months or
months.
every half month?
Yeah,
Which one?
it takes like there was a September. I believe there was a September chapter, and then there was like later like an October chapter. So it's probably
Monthly
bi-monthly.
or like every 2 months or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, okay.
So
That makes
I
sense.
just hope they don't run out of material,
Yeah,
or
that's
they
always
catch it too early, and the author's like, "Damn, now I gotta make up some stuff for the anime."
yeah, exactly. That'd be pretty funny. Like some people do that. So yeah, would
Well,
you? I mean, overall, would you recommend this to
yeah,
in question
Beginners.
Dark asked like
yeah,
the
sure, why not? If you cut if just know that you're coming in here for the like the pervy scenes, and they're there,
yeah
and they're pretty good because the voice cast is pretty good with it too. So
yeah. This is
just
like
know what just come in like expecting what come in without any expectations with you know what you're going into.
yeah.
Don't expect some sort of like super big plot twist so far.
So Taketatsu Ayana has done a decent amount of lewd scenes, especially starting from like Kiss Sis stuff like that. But
Wow, you would know, pervert.
shut the fuck up. But Ogura Yui hasn't done that much in terms of like those sorts of lewd scenes. So for those Ogura Yui fans out there, like if they don't truncate too much of her arc, this is essentially the closest you're gonna get to hearing Ogura Yui in like an eroge or something like that. Like I assure you, this is the closest you're gonna get. So yeah, watch out for that.
Yeah, it's good.
And
People
yeah.
like it because of the scenes. They're not gonna come
I
in
mean,
for like a
it delivers what it
groundbreaking story.
delivers.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
Junichi is such a deep and sophisticated character. No, he's not. He just wants some poon.
It delivers what it promised to
But
deliver. I wish it would cut it
he's
back
loyal
on the
poon.
yeah.
Um, be
He is
gone thoughts.
it delivers what it promises to deliver. I just wish that it would cut back a little bit upon like the comedy stuff. But yeah,
But yeah, like people are saying the comedy is cringy. I don't know if that like I
it's
personally
just
thought it
too
don't
was
long.
understand
It's
it.
just too long.
Boring, to be honest.
It's too long. It's too long. It's too boring.
It's like, oh, boobies, and it's like, is it like middle schooler level cringe, or everyone's excited about the boobies and
It's more just like it's more like the problems I have with Seito Kayakundomo
whoa
where it's
there,
like
that's godly. That
where it's like
comedy is godly. Why do you think it got like an entire entire season of ovas before they got the second season?
the thing is it's like Seito Kayakundomo has its good moments, but a lot of the other times where it's like uh, it just kind of does some sort of variant of a banana joke over and over again, and it's like
Yeah, but they're pretty good.
yeah, but it's like still the banana joke. Like
Yeah,
okay,
better than Aho Girl's banana jokes.
It's
well,
almost like
it's better than
Aho Girl's
Aho.
not very good.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you Toast again for
I
covering
mean,
Hajimete Naka.
what's wrong with SYD? SYD's great. It's coming out with a movie.
I don't think it's bad. I just think that it could do more than just banana jokes 40% of the time.
What about the strap-on joke? That was pretty good.
That's your fun joke. It's okay.
What?
But, I like the New Year's stuff a lot. But anyways, moving on.
You didn't like that airplane scene? That was great.
See, it was so...
Yeah.
Oh my god. Especially when it became that viral video. But anyways, we're moving on. Last but not least, I decided to cover Princess Principal because I do believe it's going to be one of the sort of, I guess, another one of the more known series this season in terms of like how it looks visually, and also how it's more like action, like steampunk oriented, and Yuki Kajiura is also scoring for it, right? Composing for it, I believe. Kajiura Yuki.
They have a distinct like soundtrack, so you know them immediately. Why are you asking me?
Yeah,
Like
I'm just clarifying, okay, for the viewers out there, or for the listeners out there. But so it
so
is.
Yuki Kaijiro also did the soundtrack for Fate Zero and Sword Art Online and Kano Yoga. If you didn't
Yeah,
know.
it is. It is also done by Studio 3 Hertz. 3 Hertz hasn't been doing like a lot of stuff, but they were involved in um very recent series such as Celestial Method, Dimension W, Flip Flappers. They helped a little bit with Little Witch Academia, and rewrite and stuff like that. So they did they did some series of worth noticing, but it kind of remains to be seen if any of them are like huge sort of like classics yet. You know what I mean? And I guess this one is shaping out to be very similar to that. Again, as I said, it is an action sort of steampunkish setting, set in London. London has been split into two between East and West, much like some other historical cases, blah, blah, blah. And the East and West fight with each other by using, spies and stuff like that. It's unknown how the conflict
like
exactly
Cold War.
Sort of, yeah.
No, because they actually kill people.
Yeah.
So not Cold War.
I mean,
More World War II than Cold War.
I mean, the idea of the wall is Cold War, but it's like the spy thing is World War II.
It's a war without an actual war.
Yeah, the idea and the scale of the conflict is not made clear, but the point is, spies are fighting with each other and trying to gain ground, blah blah blah, carrying out missions, and the idea is like the usual thing with these like spy action things, right? Where it's like there's no black and white, it's always gray morals every day, haha, like stuff like that, and also all the spies are girls. I forgot to tell you this.
Is that why it's called Princess Principal and not Man Set?
No.
Yeah.
It's called,
What?
it's called Princess Principal because one of the spies is a princess.
Isn't her code name actually like Princess or whatever?
Hey,
Yeah, they just call her Hime. Apparently, she doesn't actually have a name.
Yeah.
He may as a
It's
name.
not important. It's not important.
her name.
Yeah, her
is
name's not important.
Yeah, her name's not important, dude.
Shit.
Anyways, there's the audio visuals, I think, with some like exceptions, right? As you guys mentioned just before the podcast.
They're okay. The CG dancers are fucking nasty, but whatever.
I think the car chase was done pretty decently.
Yeah, I
Well,
thought
I
it
mean,
was on pretty.
The car chase was alright. Cars were there's never gonna be a hand drawn car in any anime, so
Yeah,
What about Initial
Except for,
D?
those are CG, dude.
yeah, those are all these.
The original Initial D was fucking CG,
Some
wasn't
of
it?
the worst
Yeah, it was.
CG of all time, too. The only times you're gonna get hand drawn cars is if you're getting like a red line or something.
Yeah.
I was
But,
talking about the movie.
You'll get
Or
a
if it's like the
hand-drawn car in
opening
a
to
dead
something.
studio.
Or if it's like an opening. Something.
Yeah. Even then, you're lucky.
Yeah.
If the car's moving, it's CG.
Yeah.
But yeah. The audio visuals are fine. I don't really like the character designs for the most part, but that's personal preference.
Yeah, the character designs are kind of just meant to be kind of they're just like, oh, we're a ragtag bunch. It's like fucking these recent female remakes, like female cast remakes of like old movies or something like that, like Ghostbusters kind of thing.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
like Gantz.
What?
It's like what?
What the fuck are you talking about?
You didn't read Gantz G where they remade like the first part of Gantz as all girls.
No, that's not animated though, Toast. That's a random fucking spin-off manga.
Hey man,
Hey
it's just
man,
like
Ghostbusters
Well,
isn't animated either.
one time I read this
Yeah.
gender bend dojin and yeah,
Anyways, so it's sort of like, rather than having them being like these like super unique characters, are like, yeah, we're this like ragtag bunch of people, like girls doing
Yeah.
spy things.
Do they have code names befitting of spies like Matahari or Ava?
No, they just
Wow,
have
that's
names.
Yeah.
My problem with character designs is they're not like cohesive or anything, You have random steampunk top hat girl,
Mhm.
and then you have ninja samurai rice hat girl, and then you
It's
have
because a ragtag team. Yeah.
then you have the
no
princess, and then you have the older girl who apparently doesn't do anything.
It's like everybody from the A team except like Fireman or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
Dude,
it's like,
they're like different colors. See, one's purple, one's blue, two are red, one's black.
there's like no theme to it. Is my problem. It's like the creator just made a bunch of OCs and was like, you know what, I can make a series out of this. It's good enough.
Yeah,
'cause they're
the only
whack team.
real theme, quote unquote, would be like steampunkish Victorian like frill sort of thing for the costumes we see now. When they're
Well,
actually in spy mode,
Samurai
even worse,
Samurai
'cause
Ninja
Samurai
Girl
makes no
is
sense.
very far from.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't
Samurai
for the
makes even less.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for the samurai, which I like totally didn't get either, and she was like all slicing cars up and shit, and I was like, is that her job to like slice cars up? Like, but other than the samurai, I think it could be construed as like a meme Victorian England like steampunk kind of thing. Like the top hat is a little bit like top hat monocle shit is a little bit kind of.
The top hat's pretty dumb.
Yeah,
but
dude, how
What
do you know?
if it turns into a blade like Odd Job, dude?
Dude, if it wasn't for the top hat, you would have no clue that it was England. You'd have no clue. How would you know?
you're right.
How would you know it's a princess if they didn't have the top hat?
If they're not wearing top hats, it might as well just be
If they're
Japan.
not stuffing scones into their mouths, like how would you even know it's England? It could
Coast,
be
the
anywhere.
princess isn't the one that wears the top hat. The princess wears the hood.
And the monocles.
But
geez.
isn't their team called the Princess Principals?
No.
Well, lame. What is their team called then?
they're not a team of anything. They're just a group.
They're
of
like the
spies.
principal, like
Like
group or
even
something.
even a
Shit.
ragtag group of battle-hardened mercenaries have a name. They're called the
they have like a.
Expendables.
Oh my!
I wish Dwayne the Rock Johnson played both these girls. Please.
that would be a good anime.
Yeah. But in terms of how the character interactions kind of worked out and how sort of the point of the series, like where the series is going to go in terms of like exploring moral themes, right? How'd you find it?
Well, first of all, I can say I don't like the main character.
I don't think she's
Because
actually the main character technically. Is she?
Yeah, I don't like the. main
well,
character.
she's been the main character for 2 episodes that I've seen.
Oh, you did
so,
watch episode 2.
Yeah.
I like it when
fuck.
like the spy team does their thing. Like
Yes, I
doing
like it
spy
when
stuff,
the
but I
main
don't like-
character is doing spy shit
yeah,
and not talking in that fucking boring ass monotone voice.
yeah.
But every
I
other
hate
time,
that
I'm like,
shit.
why is she the main character? Like, if you're gonna
She's
make a
the liar.
if you're gonna make a monotone character that's always fucking lying, don't make it the main character. Because by the end of the episode 1, I was already tired of the "oh, I'm always lying" shtick. Like, that was dull fast, and I
Well,
don't
okay,
like the
there's
monotone
an
thing on
exception.
top of
There's
that.
an exception. I would be okay if like episode 2 or episode 3 there was some sort of strange like internal struggle, like she's some sort of like pathological liar because some background stuff like that, or some like weird stuff. I'd be okay with that. But it's not really like that. Like why
I
she's
mean,
like lying.
yeah, I guess if they do something with it, but like so far it's just been, I'm lying because I'm a spy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's
there's
sort of-
But
no,
if she
there's
says
no.
she's a spy and she's lying,
You can't trust people who say they're spies. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're spies if they say they're spies.
Wait, you said you watched episode 2, right?
Yeah, I watched
Um,
episode 2.
Is that the part where they do they do like the negotiations at the ballroom or whatever, right?
Yeah, they do the ballroom
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Okay, so what I don't like about the character interactions, most of all, I mean, I say most of all, I don't think it's like a group of like really bad stuff, but it's like one of the major gripes I had with this was that the characters at the end of the day are all like, yeah, but I'm doing this to save you, like stuff like that, and it's like it's the whole like, oh, I'm doing this ultimately very good thing for, through all these like gray moral means, and
Because I'm just such a nice person.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna dirty my hand. You don't need to do, and all these sorts of interactions become very, very obvious, right? These like pathways that people can go through, or these characters can go through, and I'm not that impressed by it. Like I was more impressed back when at the sort of starting stages of the anime, when everybody was just doing dumb shit because they just want to survive, or they want to look out for number one, or they're just kind of in it for the money, or this is just their way of life or whatever. Like I'm actually I like if the entire anime was like that, I'd be down with that. I'd be like, yeah, everybody's just kind of being a dick because they have to look out for number one. But it's like at the end of the day, they're just like, yeah, but I'm ultimately being good, and it's like, yeah, I guess
That's not how you do
that.
gray morality, my friend.
Yeah, it's like I guess you could just do that.
You
Sure.
you can't go into something with a facade of being gray morality, and then at the end just be like, by the way, it was all good.
Yeah, I just had to do it, but hey,
It was
the question
gray
becomes,
because she killed the guy.
yeah, it's like
Wow.
Except
it's like
the guy was
Except
gonna
the guy
kill
was
them
gonna
anyway.
fucking kill them all, so there
yeah.
wasn't really any gray morality there.
Well, I mean, it is gray morality, but the issue is it's like it's not asking different questions. It's asking the same thing of like, do the ends justify the means, which is just or like a very reduced version of do the ends justify the means, which is like
Well, in the
I could
first
see
episode, they
fucking
certainly did, because they ended it on the fucking "Wow, you're such a good person" note. Like
yeah
there was
Yeah, but
no,
then
there
that
was
sister's brother is dead.
wow, there was like
yeah.
nothing lost because the sister's brother was a fucking bad guy.
and,
Like he
and,
was selling them all out.
But
and
there are no goods and bad guys because it's all gray.
yeah, the whole like the whole idea is like should you even if he was doing these bad things, blah 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 blah, he's doing bad things, they're doing bad things or whatever, should you like kill the person, blah blah blah, she got her hands dirty. And that's the whole like gray morality thing, and that's where the whole like ends versus the means comes in. But again, the issue is they're not asking anything super different. They're not
Well,
like
I mean, the thing is, they're not really asking like if you
anything.
should kill him there because he betrayed them. Like at that point, she has to kill him, right?
I think they
No,
tried
that's not
to pull
necessarily.
they tried to pull the thing where it's like, well, he was doing it to save his sister.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I
at the
get
same
that,
time, it's like it
but
doesn't
at the
really matter because they're spies and you're trying to sell them out. So it's like they kind
So
of
I,
have to
I
kill
think
you.
I think what the sort of writers wanted us to see is like, oh, she's like supposed to be nice or whatever, right? At the beginning, like nice-ish, and then the dude, tells a soft story about the sister doing blah blah blah, and then the brother, because he's been driven to desperation, rats them all out, and the writers are like, well, we'll let you guys think for a second that she'll let him go because she's kind or whatever. But then she shoots him. And then that leads into the whole like pathway of, oh, there's blood on her hands because she's a spy. And then that leads into the whole like, oh, you see,
that
it's
doesn't
complex set of actions because blah blah blah, she killed somebody. That sort of
something like
stuff.
that. Something you don't really need an entire episode to be like, well, she has blood on her hands because she's a
Yeah, I
spy.
agree. I agree. I'm just
Especially
saying.
when at the very beginning of the episode, she killed two fucking people by making their
Yeah,
car
exactly.
fly into the sky and crash into an overpass.
No.
Hey,
They weren't dead. You saw them in the hospital again later on.
it's like Batman. It's like Batman, dude.
Shit.
It's like
It
Batman.
was
Well,
just espionage,
They
bro.
passed
I
her.
didn't
They
kill them.
passed her in the hallway.
I only fucking drove into them at 100 miles per hour with my Batmobile, but they didn't die because I electrocuted them before
They got
that.
compensation, dude. But
It's just espionage, bro. Don't worry about it.
yeah, like you have to be so mad. But it's very
I mean, most of my gripes with the show are in the first episode alone, because I did like the second episode. It was a lot more spy-ish, right?
yeah,
I like the fact that at the end of it, the princess was acting like a total scumbag. Like, I know you guys are spies, and I won't hesitate to sell you out unless you help me, like,
yeah.
get what I want.
Like they're
you know?
actually doing spy like or action or like
Yeah, I
treatments.
like that fucking underhanded negotiation shit.
Yeah.
But then again, at the end of the second episode, it was like, Oh, by the way, it was all the main characters' plan all along.
I'm gonna deceive everybody.
Because she told the princess that they were spies for some fucking reason.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just again, it's the issue is it's like, and this is gonna become very similar to Love and Lies. Like I haven't seen any more of Love and Lies. It's what we covered in the live reactions. But it's like this whole like theme of like lying and like doing these bad actions because I'm aiming for the greater good or whatever it is, right? And it's like they don't go any like these writers don't go any further than like discussing, oh, well, okay, this lie is like an X bad thing. But if there's a greater good, is it justified? They don't ask anything further than that. They don't, talk about the structure of this. They don't talk about the context. They don't talk about, like, is action like a valid moral? Do actions have an inherent moral value in themselves? They don't talk about these more like subtle things. They're just like, oh, but she has blood on her hands. See, that's really complex, and that sort of, bugs me, right? And obviously, it bugs you because they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna deceive everyone, like lies, blah blah blah, right?
Well, the problem I'm having with it is they're saying, "Oh, I'm deceiving you," right? This is especially with the first episode. Like at the end, she's like, "Oh, I was deceiving you all along."
Yeah.
But like I said before the podcast, in the first episode, the entire episode is building this character up as a massive fucking liar. Like she lies about pretty much every single thing to this other character. And then at the very end, she lies to him again, and then he basically believes her.
Yeah.
And then immediately before he gets killed, he calls her out for being a liar. And it's just like, well,
it's fucked up because he believed them. Or
there was no deception there. It was just pure fucking stupidity, right? Like it was just the other character being a complete idiot.
Yeah.
There wasn't much spy like espionage persuasion going on there. It was just, haha, you're an idiot. I'm gonna kill you now. Like
yeah, I think for to be some fair, although again, like I'm not like pushing this argument too much. It's like when the lying girl, whatever, was talking about like somewhat like normal like logistic stuff, like get in the car or blah, 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 do whatever. Like she's like, behaving relatively normal, like, oh, we should do this, we should do that. But then like that still doesn't really excuse the fact that one of the most important decisions of his life, whether to drop it or not, or let it go, let his saving grace go, led him to getting killed because he believed her. So that was very suspect. Let's say.
Yeah, I mean, that was just something that like I can't overlook something like that. It's just it's such a glaring flaw with the exchange of words being held that like why would you believe her there?
Yeah.
Like your life is on the line.
Yeah, that's like
this character is lying to you right now.
Right now.
And you're gonna believe her. Like she's been lying to you the entire time you've known her. And this one time on this life or death situation, you're gonna believe her. Like,
you're like, okay, yeah, fuck, man.
I don't think that's sound judgment there, buddy.
Yeah. Well, he was also desperate, but anyways, like that doesn't really excuse.
But what if the alien thing was true?
I think one of the other gripes you had was that you wanted a little bit more intrigue again, like what you had in episode 2, instead of like some Jason Bourne thing going on. That was
I mean, if there are spies, I want to see espionage going on, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want car chases and shootouts for spies.
Hey,
know,
man.
Because they're spies, dude.
I don't want like, oh, I'm sneaking around. I'm spying. By the way, I'm gonna pull out my samurai sword and murder this entire room of people.
But Nia, don't you remember in Metal Gear
It's like
Solid 3 there was a motorcycle. There was a motorcycle part. It comes with the territory.
Metal Gear is barely espionage. Let's be real.
MGS3 was all about the espionage, though.
It's all stealth if there's no survivors.
He's right.
If a tree falls
Just look at Hitman. If you kill everybody.
Exactly. That's what I just mentioned. Yeah, Hitman. It's like Hitman. You just walk in the room, and as long as you kill everybody, that you're getting too many
Can't
shots
leak
in.
secrets if no one's alive.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it is. It's still serviceable, I guess, as an action series, but the character interactions and everything are action slash like I guess it's going more into spy territory now as like an action slash like sort of swashbuckling dandy like action kind of sort
I
of
don't know.
series.
I
But
don't
it's
even
like
know where the second episode takes place. I don't know if that was supposed to take place before the first episode or what. Like,
that's
it was very
yeah,
vague.
that's like no, that's before, right? Because like in the first episode they already had the whole like
Yeah, in the first
gang,
episode they're all together, and
the
then in
gangs
the
together.
second episode it like sets up them
The gang,
getting together.
yeah, exactly. So
It's really it really threw me for a loop. I was like, wait, they were just hanging out with the princess, but now they're spying on her. What?
yeah, it's they don't explain it well, but it's they kind of put it straight in immediate rest, like in the beginning of the timeline when they
Yeah,
haven't like met together yet.
kind of weird, but
Yeah.
um,
I think it's like overall with like the audio visuals and like how they did the espionage and stuff like that in episode 2, and probably if they continue like that with the other stuff, episode 3 was okay, um, but I think it's still a pretty serviceable like action series. But the character interactions and like how it kind of tries to drive the frame morality thing in a very reducible way is very not like it's not really motivating.
I want the main character to take a back seat. And I
But what
would
if
like-
she's fucking less of a monotone?
well,
But what if
then,
she became the princess again?
what if she's really an alien?
Yeah. What if she's an alien princess, dude?
Damn.
Yeah.
But I hope the princess gets more of like the main character role because
I mean, those two are definitely going to get more of a role, like probably like switching back and forth or doing something stupid, right? But the issue is whether like they'll do them as a duo, or whether it'll be like mainly focusing on how the main girl is like brooding over her choices, like the choices she made, the way she bloodied her hands, well, less than that, probably.
yeah,
So
I don't know. I'd say this has potential.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much potential as something like Akka, ACCA, which I still didn't finish. I need to go back and watch. But
Akka is there's like a little bit of a difference though because it's like Princess Principal kind of revealed all its hands at the beginning, like it revealed its entire hand at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like it's like here it is, like fucking straight.
for sure,
yeah.
for sure.
But it's like Akka, like even after like 2-3 episodes, it was just like, what is it going into? You're kind of like that, which wasn't necessarily bad because it's not like people were like, it's not like the series was like Akka is going to be like this at the beginning, but it was still like, oh, I don't really have a clue of like what they're trying to do with it. Yeah, so much, yeah.
But I think the general like flow, I guess. I don't know. Just the backhanded dealings and stuff of Spies and whatnot is I think comparable to ACCA.
Yeah.
It's,
the talking.
Yeah.
Like the yeah. That's true. Okay. So thank you, Mir, for sticking through to it at least.
Thanks for being a princess.
Yeah. I'll also talk about the monotone characters. Session Voice actually says I kind of dig the MC's monotoneness in Classroom of the Elite or Yokoso Jitsuyoku or whatever. Yojutsu. This like monotone character stuff I kind like, especially like the monotone people who have like a lot of talent stuff. I'm not digging that much honely because it's
you
like
don't
the whole.
Like Gudere's Spire?
I think because Jujutsu is just like basic classroom drama shit, right?
Yeah, it's like a very tiny tinge of survival game plus like Faculty Test, like the serious themes of Faculty Test.
I think having a monotone protagonist in something like that is a lot different from having a monotone protagonist in a half action, half espionage series. Like when you have a monotone character like an action series, you know, usually that's not a good sign.
I mean, usually
monotone
that has to
characters are
denote,
pretty fucking boring.
the
let's be
monotone
real.
characters, if they're monotone, it has to denote some sort of like issue that they're like maybe dealing with. Right? Because usually those characters aren't that quiet, right? Like if they're like in the middle of shit all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just the reason is because it's like the writers always go back to like the monotone or whatever stuff like that. It's like as sort of like an issue. Like they don't obviously call it out like, oh, why do you have a monotone voice? It's not like that. But it's merely like, oh, I'm quiet because blah blah blah, this and that happened, stuff like that. And that always comes up later, and it's usually not that interesting. Where it's like, oh, I just decided it would be better to just stay low and follow the rules, stuff like that, like stupid shit like that. And I'm not a big fan of like the monotone voice being just used as a very obvious like flashback point like that. So that was just my little dig there. But yeah, again, thank you for covering this with me. And with that being said, we are going to move on to the news. A decent amount of, well, not like a huge amount of news, but solid amount. There's like a lot more people related news and some interesting stuff in regards to like releases. But
Wow.
we'll go through some of that. A lot of award stuff. The first off is a very interesting piece of news. You'll have some of us here get salty already.
Wow.
Okay, so the first piece of news is that the Kyoto Animation Awards takes a year off and will return in 2018. The official website for anime studio Kyoto Animation announced on Friday that it will not hold the 9th annual. Oh, this is last Friday, by the way. It will not hold the 9th annual Kyoto Animation Awards this year. The program will return in 2018 for the 10th annual awards. The staff explained that it is taking time to improve the awards, and the 10th annual awards will be a new start. What I'm wondering is that,
is it really the 10th annual if you're skipping one of them?
yeah, exactly. First of all, is it really the 10th? And second of all, are they really doing it to like improve, like, oh, you know, like maybe we're being a bit too stingy, or like, you know, maybe we're being assholes, and like, are they actually improving this?
Maybe our award show should hand out a fucking award. How about that? That'd be
Yeah,
great.
no, or even better. This is like where we go down the rabbit hole. Are they actually doing this because, like, they're just like, hey, none of you are any good, and then they're just taking the pool of candidates and they're just picking whatever they want. They're like, hey, you know, like you didn't even get an award last year, like, but you know, you seem okay. Why don't you come over to us for an anime? And then they just kind of work out whatever they want to work out, right, contract wise.
I feel like they're just doing this to make it a bigger deal next time.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
Oh, well, there
so
wasn't
rare.
one last year,
Yeah.
so this one's even more important, but we're still not going to give an award out.
Yeah, this is so important. This is so prestigious that only 9 awards have been given out in 10 years, kind of thing.
Stupid.
It's Kyoto Animation. Like honestly, like the thing is, like whoever they choose, like usually comes out to be like good series. But it's like,
Yeah, Tamako
why do
Market.
they do this shit? No, Comic Market didn't. It was an anime original created in house by the studio,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, they didn't win an award, Toast.
Exactly.
Kiwani gave themselves their award.
They are only impressed. Yeah, it's like it really bugs me that they do this, and obviously you guys all have shared the same similar sentiments.
Stupid.
Fucking whatever. All right, next piece of news is also pretty funny. So before we talked, months before, we talked about how Akimoto Yasushi, who was the founder of AKB48, very big idol group, and the producer beyond them, is producing a new sort of dimension-crossing idol group based upon 2D characters. So it's called 22 divided by 7, or I guess that's sort of like a rough 22 over 7 is a rough approximation of pi. I don't know why they used this, but they did. Announced at their first live event on Saturday that the group is getting an anime project. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, again, during the live event on Saturday, the group performed on stage as themselves, but also put on a motion capture performance as their anime characters. Dear Lord.
So did they like dance with themselves?
No, they probably danced like backstage, and then the motion capture was put on like above stage, or maybe they danced on stage, and then the screen above them showed like the motion capture animes characters. But
It's
yeah.
like that scene from Take On Me when she jumps into the animated world. It's like that.
It's like the ring, but it's like the anime character crawls out and you see like the voice actor behind them. Like,
Holy shit, that'd be fucking cool, dude.
Yeah. Anyways, the group based on the concept of quote unquote idols across dimensions has 8 anime idol characters with their respective voice actors performing as idols in the real world. Different character designer is handling each character member's anime design. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So yeah, it's 2D anime focused stuff, but again, we read all these descriptions, right, and they were pretty funny. They were so simple, but it was really funny. It was like, what is it? She acts high class in a tsundere. She's a daughter of a good family.
Is one of them? She knows 5 languages.
Yeah.
17 years old and cool.
Yeah. She is egotistical and speaks in a Kansai dialect.
That's me.
17 years old and an idol. She's an otaku and is a bit ignorant. God.
A bit ignorant. I like how that's the word choice.
Yeah. 16 years old. She's aggressive and militant. Militant.
Damn.
Jesus. But yeah, watch out for these 2D motion capture girls coming to you. I mean, they're probably going to focus on motion capture, right? Because the whole point of them is supposed to be 2D, like idols popping into like live events-ish kind of thing. I guess that's what they're trying to go for. So expect to see a lot of motion capture and shit soon. Oh, jeez. Moving on. A little bit on
Please shut your dog up.
Yeah, dude, your dog is actually. So on the international awards, let's say we have, unfortunately, defeat of manga at the defeat of Japanese manga at 2 different awards. First of all, at the 2017 Eisner Awards, there were no manga wins, although there were 5 Japanese works that were nominated for best U.S. edition of international material in from Asia category, including Oyasumi Punpun, Orange, the Osamu Tezuka story, Princess Jellyfish, and Wandering Island, but none of them unfortunately got the award. This is actually the first year apparently that a manga did not win this award. Instead, the award went to San Liu's The Art of Charlie Chan Hokche, which is actually a Singaporean comic. So yeah, very unfortunate for those nominees. And no manga has been nominated for the inaugural 2017 Ringo Awards, which is also known as 2017 Mike Ringo Comic Book Industry Awards. So yeah, again, very unfortunate. I'm sure this makes Miyazaki slightly happier, but yeah.
Manga's dead. It's over, boys.
Dead. It's stop drawing. Artists will now receive like 7,000 per year.
Damn.
Stuff like that. Anyways.
Isn't that racist?
Wait, what?
Yes.
What? What?
Wait, how's it racist? Alright, Toast.
Okay.
Alright, Toast.
Alright, thanks, man.
Moving on. So, ad firm Hakuhodo released its quote-unquote content fan expenditure behavior study, and I think this is actually pretty interesting. Even if you just read like the original material, for 2017 on July 5th, the study ranks media franchises, groups, and artists in 2 categories: reach and expenditure power. Reach is how many people participated in the franchise for the year by spending on it at all, while expenditure power is how much a franchise's core fans spent on it for the year, so how much money that is. The ranking for reach is as follows. Number 1, at nearly 11,000 people, Your Name, or Kimi no Na wa. Number 2, Detective Conan, ranking at 9.7 million. 3 One Piece, 4 Gen Hoshino. These are just like artists, obviously. 5 Hikaru Utada, 6 Dragon Ball, 7 Pokemon, 8 Ikimonogatari, 9 SMAP, and 10 Arashi. So these are also like obviously also can be brands and stuff like that. The ranking for expenditure power, and this is again how much money is spent instead of how many people are reached, is as follows. And this might be a little bit funnier. Number 1, Arashi. Number 2, Exile. Number 3, Love Live, surprising nobody. Number 4, Final Fantasy series. Number 5, Nogizaka 46, which is the idol group. Number 6, Kanjani. And number 7, Godzilla series. Number 8, Heisei Jump. Number 9, News. I don't know what the fuck this is. It's like a male idol group or something like that.
Looks like it.
Yeah, it's a male idol group. And then number 10 at One Piece. So yeah, very interesting. I'm not sure how much of it is a surprise. I'm actually kind of surprised at the whole like male idol thing spending a lot more, but I guess I'm not too surprised by that either, right? Because it's like some of these people.
Fujos, dude.
Yeah, Fujos.
They have infinite money, apparently.
Yeah, I'm actually. Well, I guess Lieutenant Prince Sama like always gets huge BD sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I should have known from that Fujos are willing to spend a lot of money, like a surprising amounts of money.
Yeah.
Like sure, like Love Live, like people like female idols also get like a huge thing, but they also have like a huge fan base, right? So it's like, and maybe it's like more proportional. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. Again, reach, like how many people, how actually popular it is versus how hardcore its fans are. It's very interesting study there by an ad firm. Next piece of news. Japanese retail company Marui Group, Marui means round in Japanese, invested in its first television anime productions with this summer's Aho Girl and Citizen Children anime.
Oh. You got one right.
Yeah. Marui will hold a promotional campaign for both shows at its Shinjuku Marui Annex store in Tokyo beginning from August 8th to 30th. The campaign will offer special illustrations, collaboration merchandise for both anime and the store. So, Marui Group had previously invested in the Aozora Yell and Gintama live action films, but not like official anime stuff. So, I guess the store is now really kind of partnering up with like anime stuff. I mean, pretty much everything in Japan has partnered up with anime at some point or another. So, I guess this is the time. Just get up on it, especially during the summer where a lot more people will be like out shopping, out playing around, stuff like that. So, next piece of news. This was like a little bit. This again, I don't really like doing like anime release projects stuff like that, but this one was pretty funny. So Kazuhara Kina has done, I believe, an illustration project. It's not like a manga or anything like that. It's like an illustration. It's like a Pixiv kind of thing, I guess.
Pixiv series,
Pixiv
yeah.
clips, yeah. Called Mainichi JK Kikaku, or Everyday High School Girl Project.
So it's like the new Tawa.
I guess. Announced on Wednesday that an anime adaptation has been greenlit. It's off his illustration. The project will hold auditions for new voice actors to have roles in this project's number 0, quote unquote, number 0 pilot animation. So they're bringing new blood, but it's also off like a very weird thing. It's like the closest thing this reminds me of is like what is it, like Panty Skirt Pirates, like Moretsu Pirates or whatever, where like the dude made the anime based off a drawing of a girl, a pirate in panty skirts he saw at Comic Cat or something, like that sort of shit.
It's just a flash of inspiration, man.
Dude, I could write an entire anime series off Panty Skirt Pirates.
You ever been so inspired by panties you just made a series about them?
But yeah, this one was the pretty funny one. Let's see this. Blah, blah, blah. They're talking about how this is going to become. The news generally talks about how it's going to become like a very like multimedia project. Imagine like Love Live, where it's like they did the anime, but they're also doing like live events. They're doing like CDs. They're doing. They say they might end up doing like some sort of like game kind of thing, maybe, like depending on how it goes. It's like there are a whole bunch of different like plans in motion. Yeah. So the project's official website also lists the game. So it's going to become a heavy multimedia project. But the funny thing was Kazuharu Kinu. Yeah, Kina, excuse me. Kazuharu Kina. It says, for his original illustration project, Kazuharu draws real female high school students that he sees on the street. He then uploads the illustrations on Twitter.
Yo, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
But are they cute?
I don't know if you can say that. That's what you're doing.
I just take pictures of people on the street. But are they cute?
No, he doesn't do that. He walks up
He
to
just stares at them.
them. Must draw you.
Yeah,
Yeah, he just follows them around for a couple hours.
he just like stops them. It's like, can you stop there for a bit? Just like stares at them. It's like, all right, got it. Like,
I'll remember your face.
See, there's that one there that's like waving to him. She waved to him. She was cool with it.
yeah. Oh my god. So I just found this like really funny how it's like relatively creepy like beginnings ended up becoming like this huge like media project thing. But it's honestly,
It's art, dude.
depending on how the promotion goes, I have a feeling that this could potentially become like viral or like very big. like depending on how the promotion goes again.
At least he didn't go into someone's home talking about radiation levels.
That's what he does. He opens up their
That's
house.
very
He's
true.
like,
Though.
the radiation levels in here are off the charts. Now I need to
I
draw,
had to
you.
Yeah,
I need to draw you to get rid of it.
He only goes into high school girls like places for radiation check. But yeah,
You gotta
again,
get into this high school for radiation checks.
but yeah, anyways, we'll see how this goes. Again, my prediction is that this is actually going to become pretty viral if the promotion stuff goes well. But
My prediction is he's gonna get sued.
yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't been sued already.
It can really go
he hasn't
two
gotten
ways.
sued yet, so
It can go two ways. Either this blows up and it becomes like a viral like meme status thing, or this blows up and he goes to prison.
Yeah. Next piece of news. ICV2 released a chart on Friday that ranked the top-selling manga franchises from spring 2017 in the United States. ICV2 stated that the data reflects sales in all channels, including comic book sales and comic book stores and online. And this is just doubling up on the whole like little brief discussion we had before about Fujo's piling on a lot of money into stuff. Number one for comics, top manga is Suishida's Tokyo Ghoul.
whoa.
Whoa, that's totally.
Tokyo Ghoul is a
unexpected.
very popular series with like girls and stuff like that.
It's for adults.
It's for adults, yeah. Himekawa, second is Himekawa Kira's Legend of Zelda manga.
I believe
Third
that's
is-
the Twilight Princess one.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Kishimoto Masashi's Naruto.
What?
Number 4.
Naruto.
Isayama Hajime's Attack on Titan. Number 5, Kusaka Hidenori and Yamamoto Satoshi's Pokemon Adventures. Number 6, One Punch Man. Number 7, Berserk. Number 8, Fairy Tail. Number 9, One Piece. And number 10, Dragon Ball Z manga.
How can Berserk be on that list if there hasn't been a new volume in the past 17 years?
Yeah, there's so many. No, the number 6 represents like the number of disappointed people like in the millions. Like, just like they just go through. They're like, oh, look at this. Oh, it just ends there. Like we don't get anything new.
How,
That's it. That's the end.
how can Fairy Tail be on this list if it's ended?
God, Fairy Tail finally ended. Yeah,
So is Naruto.
yeah.
The
No,
age of
it-
Shinobi is
no,
over.
it has it.
Fuck
We
yeah, I was
have
gonna say that.
Boruto.
Geez. But yeah, it's going to. So for those of you who are interested in like numbers and stuff, again, Fujo's rule the world apparently, or rule a lot of money. The last non-person related news this week or these past 2 weeks, is that for those of you who were watching Kakigurui or still watching it, which is the whole like
Why?
gambling anime based upon,
Is
which
it
is
because
essentially a mix
gambling is
between-
illegal in Japan?
Because they make the
yeah.
funny face.
Which is essentially imagine Shokugeki no Soma, but with gambling. That's actually like the closest way I can describe it. But Kakegurui is taking a 1 week break because it doesn't want to clash with the schedule changes for the World Championships in athletics.
Oh,
So,
I thought you were gonna say World Championship gambling.
Yeah. God.
Damn.
And then
The
they just make
gambling
those
anime
faces.
makes room for real gambling.
Yeah.
Shit.
Tokyo MX, TVIT, and BS11 will instead air a special program with a cast commentary on the first episode. So look out for that. That's probably going to be like a 0.5 episode somewhere, included with BDs. But yeah, those are non-people news. As for the people news, first up, Mimi music group, the fans, and the voice actress, one of the members behind the group, and the voice actress Yuki Taka will retire from the entertainment industry. So this Mimi
Mini
no,
meme
it's
mini
Meme.
It's
Is
Mimi,
Meme?
Meme,
Yes,
Mimi.
Meme. Yeah, Mimi Meme because of the
memes?
Japanese. Yeah, memes. Mimi consists of voice actors Yuki Tako and illustrator Chamui. I guess it's like a single like singer and stuff like that, and then the illustrators just make covers for them or something like that. But anyways, the group performed the theme songs for such anime as Blade and Soul, Nozokimi, Anero, Yamada-kun, and the Seven Witches, Sweetness and Lightning, or Alama to Inazuma, and the second ending theme song for Akiba's Trip the Animation. Blah blah blah. But yeah, in the announcement, the Mimi members thanked their fans and staff who supported them for their future work. The members said that they would still like to express their feelings in a different form. I don't know what that means, but okay.
Art. They're gonna make art.
We're gonna make a manga.
They might just also not have made enough money and they just want to kind of like freelance or like make it a hobby or something like that while doing other stuff.
Probably.
Again, please wish them the best of luck as they change careers. Second, another appearance of this kind of shit. But a man has been Tokyo's Akasaka police station arrested 20-year-old fifth-year technical college student Tatsuya Onodera on Wednesday on the charge of interfering with work duties after he allegedly posted threats online to kill voice actress Uesaka Sumire. Police arrested Onodera in the Hioridamachi area of Tsuruoka, Yamagata Prefecture, and he reportedly admitted to using his cell phone to post the threats. Good shit. According to police, Onodera posted threats such as "I'll definitely murder her" on the internet message board 2chan in June. Blah blah blah. So yeah,
Why
don't
though?
do this shit, please.
2chan, a great place that good people use.
Yeah, I forgot that Uesaka did Fubuki and Kankura actually. But anyways,
Yeah. She's
moving
easy
on.
to forget about. Don't worry.
Well, she does that. So like she does a good like an Ojo-sama lolly role, but like the other voices are.
I'm talking about Fubuki, but
Yeah. Fubuki is awesome. Like when she's doing those sorts of voices, I'm just like, nah. Like who is she again? Yeah. Next on the news, voice actor Namikawa Daisuke apologizes after adultery report. Japanese publication Weekly Bunshin published an article on Wednesday claiming to have evidence that a voice actor Namikawa Daisuke had an adulterous relationship with a female employee at his agency for many years. The 41-year-old voice actor issued a statement on his agency's website on the same day, apologizing for causing trouble with his personal affairs. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, don't do that shit. Apparently, he like started it up. Well, he was married in 2001, and he started his relationship around 2004. Like his like adulterous relationship. And again, this is also like, I mean, Namikawa is a pretty big, pretty prolific voice actor, and also this sort of thing is more sensitive in like Japan. So again, unfortunate. Next piece of news are a little bit more somber. Hira Masaki, the composer behind the series Galaxy Express 999, has passed away, and he debuted as a singer, and then he went on to compose for anime and stuff like that. In 1974, he also opened the Hidao Masaki Music School, blah, blah, which also helped a lot of other talented singers come out from the woodworks. And in 2002, he established a non-profit organization, Love and Harmony, which donates musical instruments and performances to elderly or disabled people on welfare. He did pass away, I believe, last Friday at the age of 79. So please wish condolences for his family and friends. And the last piece of news is Maso Shoichi, animator and director behind who worked on Macross, Do You Remember Love, some other Gainax projects, worked on Demon Bane, some other sort of, stuff like Gunbuster, more like action kind of stuff. I guess, since he was in Gainax, he did work on that, all that kind of stuff. But Studio Kara announced that this director, Masato Shoichi, passed away on Monday at the age of 57. So again, please do wish his family and friends condolences. And with that, we are done with the news segment, and we are on to our shoutouts and callouts. So, shoutouts is one thing from each person, something they would like to compliment, lather with praise, talk good about, expect good things from, give 5 stars on Yelp, whatever, and it can be anything. It can be one thing, one person, one series, one nation, whatever. And call it is the exact opposite thing. It is one thing that you would like to flame, that you're bothered about, wakes you up at night, cold sweats, whatever, makes you vomit, etc., etc., etc. And it can be one thing, one person, one trend, one body of water, etc. And I guess I'll go first. I'm fucking calling out Yujitsu. I can't handle this shit. I know I'm also going to be talking about it in this next podcast. But Yujitsu, the full name is Yokoso Jitsuryoku Shijo Shugi no Kyojitsu, or Classroom of the Elite.
Yokoso Japari Park.
Yeah. The Japanese name is essentially like welcome to the classroom where you have to sort of show off your real skills or like real values. But it's essentially dramatized Bakugan test. And I'm just like, okay, well, the drama doesn't make themes of Bakugan test from Bakugan test any more impressive, and all you guys are just doing is just rehashing that shit. So I don't see why I should be impressed, but I know people are gonna be like, but it's so complex, and then they all like,
But it's so relatable.
yeah, it's so relatable. They all like learn individually, and they all have their own ways of expressing themselves that's not set by society and succeeding in society. I'm just like, you guys didn't give a fuck about that in Bucket Test, so why should I give a fuck about that in this series? Like, all right, like everybody was just like, haha, these are all idiots, whatever, blah blah. Like they just, that whole like moral lesson of even idiots can contribute, have like their own value. Like everybody just kind of like laughed at that and thought it was cute. But now since it's like dramatic, it's super important. Like I don't think so. But I fucking hate the monotone MC, which again dates back into why I was bugged out about that during the Princess Principal segment, because the MC was just like, the way he says this shit is just like, there's a difference between like being apathetic and being high. Like being apathetic is just like, man, whatever. It's like I don't care about this. Kind of just like dropping it all off. Like the tone drops off because they're just like they don't care. But the dude sounds like he just sounds high. He's just like, yeah, I didn't expect this either. Like, do you want some coffee or whatever the fuck it is? I'm just like, this man sounds like he's never like left the bong. Like this is when he was born. Like, what's going on? And I don't know. I just don't appreciate that kind of shit. So yeah, fuck that series. My shout out My shout out is to, honestly, it's to the people who, I guess it's to actually Rikai-kun, because Rikai-kun is actually an extension on Chrome that it's actually really useful. Where it's like you you download it, and you turn it on, and then like you can hover. It translates. It sort of like pre-translates every Japanese website beforehand. And what you can do is you can then hover over like specific like texts, like whatever, blah blah, and you can see like, oh, what Japanese word is it, like what's the verb, stuff like that. And it's very useful because you don't have to like copy and paste every single thing. You can just hover over it and it just shows you. And it's super good. And I've been using that to browse through a lot of like shows that's like web novels, light novels. I do this kind of shit because these are essentially, as depressing as some of them might be in their contents, or in terms of how mediocre they are, this is the forefront of where Japanese media is going. What I'm reading here is in like 3 to 5, anywhere from 2 to 5 years, that's going to be the series you're going to be seeing on the anime. So I've been reading through some stuff, and it's 80% of it's due to Rikai-kun, so good shit. I'm shouting that shit out. Anyways, next up on the list is Dark. Shoutouts callouts, please.
So I guess for my shout out, I'll do PSO2, because PSO2 got a sweet new class that's a lot of fun to play, called Hero, and it's fun.
You mean a class that's basically better than every other class combined?
No, it's not. It's not that good. Nah, it's pretty good. It's like I don't know. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's the best class ever." I'd say it's like on par with Fighter,
It does more damage than Fighter.
Amazing. Does it though?
It does. You ever see those 1 million damage like hero time finishes along with 200k?
Oh yeah, well,
200k like charged key blasts.
200k. What the fuck are they using?
Me, I did 200k with like the fully charged sword key blast.
Huh.
Like,
I think I've only seen like 40.
are you not aiming for the weak points?
Yeah, I might not be critting it enough. Anyhow, I mean, you say, "Are you aiming for the weakness?" But you really can't for anything in PSO2. It's a fucking nightmare to use the targeting system in that game. But yeah, so that's the thing. And then my call out is going to be to Crunchyroll, because they're fucking awful, awful, awful subhumans that shouldn't be on this earth. And they ruined Sudezure children with their shitty subs that have fucking dead memes in them.
You should be grateful.
Yeah, I should be grateful that I have to watch this fucking show with Weeble stuff quotes in it. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the Sudezure children.
Hey, what if horrible subs just messed everything up, dude? What if it was their fault?
What if horrible subs just made a completely original script? Oh wait, they won't do that.
Sorry, you just made me laugh, even if you were
maybe you just can't relate because you're too old, Dark.
Crunchyroll is, yeah, listen, if there's anyone younger than me who gets that fucking meme, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. Oh Jesus.
It took me a while to remember that meme, dude.
I remembered it instantly. I got triggered immediately. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I remember you posting that screenshot, and I was like, "What's wrong here?" And it took a while for it to click, and then when I saw it, I was like, "Wait a minute, holy shit!"
Yeah, it's probably because it's a fucking old ass meme. Like, it's terrible, and I hate it, and I hate them, and they're so stupid.
Which one are you talking about? I forgot.
The Badger Mushroom one.
Oh, that one. Wow. That's old.
Then I posted that screenshot to Twitter and added Crunchyroll and told them that they should fire whoever is doing the subs for this show. And then I proceeded to be called out by someone who works for Crunchyroll. By the way, seen his videos before, he's a fuckboy. But he calls me out on Twitter going, "Those are horrible subs, though. Those look like horrible subs." And then I thought, well, no one could possibly be so stupid as to call me out and be like, "Those look like horrible subs," and then not know that their own subs have that in there. So I assumed that I was wrong for a while and was like,
I mean,
"Oh, fuck."
that's like
Turns
double
out I
trigger.
wasn't wrong, and Crunchyroll is actually really stupid. Who'd have
The-
thought?
The thing is, that's doubly triggering because that keeps reminding people who are like, "Oh, did you watch horrible subs or whatever? Or did you use horrible subs?" And then they talk about like Crunchyroll like it's some completely like different thing. I'm just like, dude, they're the same thing. They're literally the same thing. Like,
Yeah, I messaged him back. I was like, "Are you trying to say?" I was like, "This is a screenshot from Crunchyroll now." Were you trying to say that the problem here that I was saying was the fact that it was the font setting and not the fucking almost decade-old dead meme?
yeah,
Didn't get a response after that.
fucking triggered, honestly. Oh, Jesus.
It's also not the only time they've used that so far. In between episodes 1, 2, and 3, they're kind of all over the place. Like with derp and trolling.
XD.
At this point, I'm expecting fucking Kappa to show up at one point.
Lol.
Oh, Jesus.
Look forward to a video that I'm going to cut together eventually. Probably within
Characters.
the next week.
Character's gonna come on screen and be like, "Hey, Lamau, XD,"
What's
They're gonna-
up?
and then they're gonna dab and go off screen.
The Emoji Movie created by Crunchyroll, sponsored by Crunchyroll.
Oh, boy.
Pretty much. That's what I was telling Spire. I was like, yo, what if Crunchyroll dubs this and then they actually put the memes in the show? Like for gamers, they put the record scratch meme.
What if they just switch out the script for the Emoji Movie for any of like the series that they sub?
At this point, I don't even fucking know. They may as well have emojis at the fucking bottom for the translation. Like when a character's saying something's good, it may as well be the fucking like the okay thing and then the hundred and then the flame. Like, for fuck's sake. It's lit, man.
Eyes.
Shake my head. Alright.
Hit him with them eyes.
Alright. Nier, Shoutouts Callouts, please.
Damn, I had something, but that was just so full of energy. Shoutouts to Summer 2017 Wonder Festival. Just started today. Plenty of new and exciting figurines coming out. Always fun to see.
What was your favorite?
Probably the
censored one?
yeah, the Futanari one I posted. That one's easily the highlight of the entire show. Callouts to I don't know. Anime? Anime's dead. Fuck anime.
Yeah. Why? Why does anime exist? To make Miyazaki even sadder.
Yeah, I don't know why he ever invented anime.
Yeah, it's over. It's like the post Miyazaki era where everything's just desolation.
This is the Miyazaki has deserted us era.
Yeah, he's just like this, like a departed from the earth kind of thing.
He's forsaken us.
Yeah, you see his like spirit just wandering the desert. Like this is anime now. All right, and last but definitely not least, Toast. Shoutouts, Callouts, please.
Shout out, it's Crunchyroll.
Call out.
All right, you're
Shout
never
out-
allowed on the podcast.
Shout out,
ever
it's
again.
Crunchyroll, who is currently now having a collaboration with Twitch for 6 days of anime. You can watch all your favorite anime, including Space.
Including all of the ones that should be banned
Wow.
on Twitch because of the fucking content that they have.
Yeah.
including Yojo Senki, Space
Whoa.
Pro
Wait,
Luco.
Is Tenshin no
Read life.
Samki licensed by Crunchyroll? I'm just wondering.
I don't think so.
Kimono
Okay.
Friends coming up on the 3 a.m. block.
I mean, Kobayashi is more than
Yeah.
enough to get them banned from their own fucking website.
Yeah,
I'm staying up for Kimono Friends.
Craig, awesome. But yeah, if you are interested, please do check it out. It's like a marathon.
They had
Hey.
fucking Yojo Senki and Joker game back to back, and I was like, wow, from one boring series to another.
I had to skip Yuri
Don't
on
worry,
Ice and
Relife is on now.
The problem is like why like how they just like I don't understand where they like kind of selected the series from.
maybe
Like
the
I
most
just
popular
because
ones.
it's not like
They just
Yoshiteki's,
they just went
not
back
even
like
hot
2
now.
seasons, and then they're just
It's
like,
like,
yeah, just
close
throw
your
it in
eyes.
there.
You just close your eyes and just did stuff.
Because they have Luluco in there, right? It's like, well,
Yeah.
okay. I don't think they have Kisniver in there, because I don't know.
No, they don't. No, I
Crunchyroll
didn't see
have
it on
that?
the list.
Yes. Crunchyroll was, I think, wasn't Crunchyroll like a big funder of Kisniver to begin with?
I don't remember, man.
They had Boon.
I'm wiping that shit from my memory.
Yeah, they also held an event for the premiere of Boku no Hero Academia. So
They had Bungo season 1 and 2 like back to back. They had Mob Psycho 100. Like
Yuri,
they just
Yuri on
just-
Ice.
yeah, of course they have Yuri on Ice. Crunchyroll thinks Yuri on Ice is God's fucking gift.
By the way, shout outs to Crunchyroll for posting sick fucking season 2 spoilers of Bungo Stray Dogs and a character death in a fucking video clip on Twitter with no context whatsoever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're real cool, real cool with that shit.
Shake my head. All right. And what's your call out, Toast?
My call out is to Ragnarok Online.
Why?
I started playing it again, and I feel terrible about playing it.
I'm pretty sure you said the exact same thing last podcast.
Well, I'm still playing it. Also, it's been getting DDoS for the past couple days, and I haven't been able to level. So I am very, very upset. You can tell.
Who the fuck DDoS is? Whatever, dude.
Brazilians.
DDoS
Not
an
even-
old ass fucking game.
They're not really DDoSing it. It's just like 10 people tried to log in at the same time.
like our current server capacities are like 5K, and it's always like pushing that. And then the Brazilians got mad, DDoS. Brazilians and Filipinos still play, you know. I mean, but us Filipinos have our own server now, so I don't think they're bothering us. It's gotta be the Brazilians. No racists.
With
PR?
that said,
PR?
with that, we are done with the we're done with the series. So Toast,
Shout out to
like
Brazil.
Toast
for
just
ruining my
like
game.
threw me off the tracks again. But yeah, we are done with the episode for now. Again, we will be covering more of the series that you guys might want to hear about, or even if you guys want just a series to talk about. we'll probably go
Damn, I forgot the
like
title.
one.
Tenshi no Sanpi
Yes, Tension no Sampi. Like if we might be talking about that soon.
and Abyss Maiden.
We already talked about Maiden Members.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, if you do like what we do, we stream this. We stream our live recording of our episodes, our podcasts every other Saturday starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with the number 4. So please follow us there. You can also follow us on social media for all the updates on whatever our group is doing on Facebook and on Twitter at 4PPAnimecast, also with the number 4. We also have all of our contact, text, sidecasts, thoughts, whatever, on our main website, 4PlayerAnimecast.moe. So you can check that out there. It is available both on Twitch, on YouTube, and on MP3 on iTunes, Google Play, blah blah blah. So you can download it all on the go. We talk about the latest and greatest in anime, manga, visual novels, light novels, whatever. And we're actually pretty busy this summer season, so you'll be seeing a lot of pretty packed episodes from us, or at least a couple of episodes. But yeah, so check us out there, follow us here, and as always, see you next time. Okay.
Anime sucks.
Man.